Welcome back to International 3D Printer. You may remember a couple of days ago I had a few problems unboxing and getting this little mini Prusa to work. Well, the problems have been sorted, so let's go and have a look at what happened. Okay, so you may remember that I had a few problems when I unboxed this. I was going to do a review and a test and everything. I had a few problems with it. One of them was that the Minder probe was 3mm above the bed. So when the nozzle was touching the bed, there was still a couple of millimeters to go. So it was pushing down on the bed, and it ruined the PEI sheet that was on there, which was sent back with the other damaged Mini that I received, or the one that wouldn't work anyway. The other problem was, once I sorted that out, which was really basically just a case of unscrewing this little nut here, the hex nut here, using a zip tie, just as a 1mm thick zip tie, put it on the bed, drop this Minder down to just resting on top of the zip tie, just like it says in the manual for when you build the Mark IIIs. That way you get the right height, and it was fine after that. But then, once we had a second problem, and that was once that was sorted, managed to get that, I could not get the bed level whatsoever. It was really low on this side, and on this side it was really high. Nothing I could do. So it's totally something to do with the x-axis, nothing to do with the y or the z, or it could have been the z, I suppose, but more along the y. There was some skew there. I could have phoned Prusa and everything, but that was a live unboxing. I didn't want to do all that work on the video just so that to bin it, basically. So I carried on with the review and gave my thoughts at the end. Once I finished the review, popped up online, I then went on to a few sites. There were a few people on the YouTube channel that gave me some suggestions. I'd like to thank these guys here. Thank you very much that your suggestions were spot on. That I go and check a video live stream by Chris Warcocky, who's well known in Prusa circles, as I understand. To be honest with you, I hadn't watched one of his videos before, but I have subscribed now. And he had the same problem with a live unboxing and everything. And what he found it was these screws here on the side, as you can see from this picture, were pinching too tight and skewing the Z-axis, which in turn obviously made the X-axis wrong. So what we did here, what it is basically these two screws here. You saw it on the picture. You've got one here, one here. You've got another screw at the top here, which screws it to the Y. I couldn't find a problem with that. Now what I did was I checked all three screws, I faffed around with them, spent a couple of hours just making sure which screws had the most effect and things like that. The top screw that's in here that connects it to the Y down on the extrusion, top of the extrusion, was not a problem. That didn't affect it whether screwed up too tight or not. But the other two, I'd actually gone too far and tightened them too much. Once I undone them so they were loose, done them up so they would pinch tight, and then I'd do another quarter turn, and that's what I found would be the best solution. So just a quarter turn, maybe more than a quarter to a half turn after they pinch tight. And that way you're not going to over tighten it. And what was happening is basically the Z axis here was pushing into the bed, so it was pushing the nozzle down further on this side when it reached here, but it was higher here because this arm was slightly lower at an angle. That's sorted. I've run it for 3 days now, and I have to say she's been running beautifully like the other one did for 5 days. The other one lasted. This one's lasted 3 days so far. The prints are absolutely golden as they were with the other one. They are definitely on a par with a Mark IIIs quality wise. And speed-wise, the thing that I really like about this unit is it's so quiet. It really is quiet. I'm going to do a video for you when I start it up in a second, and we'll prick the bolt that's on the USB stick that comes with it, and then I'll give you my final thoughts at the end of it. But what I would do is I'll start putting it up now so you can actually see it in action and how easy it is to get loaded. The other thing is, I'll give you my final thoughts on what I think are the good and the bad points of this after it's done the print, and you can see it live print. We will skip through it, don't worry, it won't be the whole print. So let's get over to this. Let's move this over here so that we can then load everything up, get it going for you, and see what we can see. Okay, so I'm going to use some Prusa filament. Army green, which I've not used before. I think this is the perfect test for it because I really would like to use it. I've got some. I want to do my son some those little action figures, and which you can get on Thingiverse. And I wanted to try these with that, so because this is perfect colour for it, which is why they called it Army green. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the machine on. Okay, it takes a little while to boot up. There we go. And what I'm going to do is, I've done all the initial setup, obviously. That's not going to be a problem anymore. We're not going to have to do that at all. As I say, it's been running for 3 days with no problems whatsoever. So then I'm going to turn it on, click on filament and load filament, BLA. Okay, so we're just going to hang on while that warms up. Okay, so that's heated up now. Very quick indeed, a lot quicker than the Mark III's. We're just going to pop that down into there, the filament into there, and then you've got to push it in through the filament sensor, which is one of the options that I chose. Push it as far as it can go, push the button, it says continue, and then just push it into the gears. And there you go, you can hear that. And so now it's going to extrude. It's got to purge the other colour first, and it's just asking, is that colour correct? It's not, so I'm just going to click no, and it will purge some more. The second purge is much better, and you get it a lot longer, so you can really get rid of that old filament, which I need to do. It doesn't ask you if you want to do it again, because if it hasn't purged then there's something, there's a problem. Right, okay, so we're going to go ahead. So there we go, they've got the new filament in. It's that easy. So we're going to go to print. I'm going to go to card OG, which is where I've got all the other ones, and we're going to do the screw. Okay, so we'll click hit, press play, and away you go. And what it does, it'll call the nozzle first to do the mesh bed leveling. What I do like about that is, because it's doing that with my Mark S's, when it does the mesh bed leveling, puts the nozzle down onto the bed, checks that the pinder, checks the bed is actually the right level all the way over, and what it does, if there's a slight skew or difference of angle, it'll accommodate that in the software, so when it's printing, the head will move up and down ever so slightly as it goes across the sheet. What I like about this one is it cools it down to 170, so you don't get any blobs coming out of it, because what the problem is on the Mark III's, when it does the 14-point mesh bed leveling, it takes a while. The nozzle is coming into virtually in contact with the sheet, not quite, but it also sometimes it can leave a lot of blobs of little residue of filament on the PEI sheet. You have to wipe off before it starts its print, which is, you have to be very quick. You have to stand there and watch it. What I like with this is it cools the nozzle down to 170, does its mesh bed leveling, and then comes back up, heats up, and then just goes straight on with the print, which means you don't have to stand there and watch it while it's doing the mesh bed leveling, which for me, a great thing, because one thing I do hate is having to stand there with 8 printers when you start them all off at the same time, wiping all these bloody blobs of things. And I'm sure it's something to do with the 24-bit board, the 32-bit board, sorry, that they can't do on the 8-bit board, on the old board in the Mark III's. So that's what I think anyway. We're going to be quiet now so you can hear this, you can listen to this. See how quiet that is? That is really, really quiet. So now it's going to go and purge the nozzle. Just so it can equalise the pressure in the nozzle, so you get the right flow of filament at all times through the print. It's going to heat up first. So there you go, it's off and running. It's purging the nozzle now. All good. I do like that colour green, it's quite nice. Oh, I've got a little bit of a thing over there. Just going to get rid of that. Right, so she's off. So what we'll do is I'll let the video capture that, and I'll come back when it's finished. Just going to pause here and stop the speed test, just so you can hear the volume of it when it's doing its fast passes on the first few layers. How quiet is that? That's awesome. And we'll just stop here, just so that you can hear what it's like on normal print mode. So this is just printing normally. No, that's super quiet. Well, there you go. That's finished. So we'll leave that on there for a second. We'll get off the build plate and let's have a look at what we've got. And as expected, it's nearly flawless. There's a couple of little artifacts in there, but then I haven't finely tuned it. But to be honest with you, it looks absolutely goddamn good. Let's just see if you can have a look on the side camera here. Bottom's mirror finish. Obviously, I've really managed to get that that first layer dialed right in there, smooth as a baby's bum. That is, look. The side, the walls are lovely. There's maybe the tiniest of artifacts here and there. The top has come out really nice as well. Screw thread's fantastic. I did do a bolt from the first one of these, and that's unfortunately been thrown in the bin. I completely forgot that. But as you can see from that, that's come out really well. You really can't fault that, and to be honest with you, the quality of that is pretty much on par with the Mark III's. You can't really tell a difference or anything like that with it whatsoever. So there you go. I finally got it ready to print. Got this Mini going. To be honest with you, it didn't take long. As I said right at the beginning, it was a case of 2 screws messing about with it on there, and it's just skewing the frame ever so slightly. So I think what I've emailed support and told them what happened, and I've said to them that I think they really need to mention in the booklets or put a little leaflet that they do for afterwards that they shouldn't, the screws don't need to be really over tightened. I mean, obviously I would put a little bit of excess in there because I wanted to get it, you know, non-movable. I didn't want it to move off of the axis whatsoever. I think you can go too tight, and that's what caused it. The print quality is fantastic. I think for a $350, 350 euro machine, it's fantastic. For me, I will get more of them. I think I'll wait until the next iteration, which will be, I would assume they've added, the next batch that comes out will have all of the necessary faults looked at, because it's the common problem a lot with the Minder probe, which I think has happened with the one that I've sent back, amongst other things, is the fact that these cable ties here can be too tight, and what they'll do is they'll snap the Minder line here, and that's apparently quite a common problem. So that's something they've got to overcome. And I'm sure it can be something that's already been done or in the process of being done. So to summarise then, I am happy with the machine. I do love the machine. It's very easy to use. It is easy to set up. It took 10 minutes to get going, and out of the box, as long as you be careful and aware of the problems and the pitfalls that there are there, then I think you can maybe get a lot of fun and time out of this. Yeah, for beginners, it's perfect. It really is a great machine. I haven't seen quality this good on a small machine before. I've seen a couple of friends have got some small ones, and to be honest with you, like an Ender 3 in that, yeah, it's okay, but it's not a brilliant machine. Yes, it's great for the price, but do you really want to say it's great for the price? You really want a good machine. So I love it. I've got an Ultimaker 2 Plus. I've had that that's what got me into 3D printing. I've got 2 of these now, or another one on the way, and I've got 8 Mark IIIs. So I still do all my prototyping on the Ultimaker 2 Plus, just because for precision wise, it's fantastic. The workhorses are the Mark III's. They are absolute workhorse, and the Mark III's that I've got. Absolute workhorses, can't fault them whatsoever. This, I think, I am going to start buying these for the farm. The thing is, I can get 2 of these for the price of 1 Mark III, and that's going to make it much better for me, much more economical anyway. Pros and cons. All right, pros and cons. Pros are, it's sold as having a small footprint, but it really hasn't, because once you add this, okay, the dimensions, the footprint isn't actually much smaller than a Mark III or Mark III's or a Mark 2.5. So I think what I'd need to do is come up with a system where either these come up, drill holes in the worktops that I've got. I can feed the filament up The Mark 3Ss you need to fill the filament down, but this one, because of the way that this is, I think filling it up would add another bend into the Bowden tube, which I don't want to do. Could do it, but I could drill up and put a shelf underneath the bench and then pop that up, pop the filament up that way. So I think that would work. The other things are, it is compact, the actual machine itself compact. If you can get rid of this filament spool, I can get, in the space that I've got 8 machines, which I can get about 10 Mark 3s in at the moment. I've got room for 2 more. I could probably get an extra 2 of these, 12 of these in the same space. That side is really good. To strip down, it's no different to the Mark 3S. It's very easy to strip down and rebuild, which is what I did to this one. I do love the 32-bit board, fantastic, and there's lots of promise for that in the future, and there's lots more things that can do over the 8-bit board on the Mark 3Ss. It's just, I would imagine that the Mark 4 will come with the 32-bit board and be another iteration of the Mark 3. Or the i3 frame. Apart from that, the action's good. It's very quiet. It's fantastically quiet. It really is. I did stop the video, if you didn't notice, through the print of this. I did stop the video through that so you could have a listen to the actual sound. The mic is above. I said it's a good mic, and I didn't move it or anything, didn't change the volume levels or whatever. I could probably do a video with 2 or 3 of these going in the background, whereas the Mark 3's not a chance. That's good as well. I like the fact it's USB and not SD cards. That's easier. It is Ethernet ready. What I do like is you can get a Wi-Fi upgrade for it soon, which I will probably do. Once that's in, I can then, start farming and things like that. I'll get the other ones on Giga switches and stuff like that. So apart from that, it's solidly built. It is a solid build. It is all together, and you will get what you pay for with Prusa. So you do get the support as well, which you don't get from these Chinese companies. You don't get great support from them. The forums are riddled with bad support things, but you look for forums, and the support on the forums for support for Prusas, and they tend to be all good comments anyway. I've always had a good experience. Anything's gone wrong or a part's been missing or something, they've always sent it and it's arrived straight away. Can't fault them for that. Okay, cons. As with any tech, early tech adopters, you're always going to find the bugs. It doesn't matter what tech it is. Whenever I get Xboxes and things like that, when they're released, always have done ever since the first one. Things like that. All my tech is all first gen because I love adopting new tech and I love playing with it. But you expect to have the bugs there and everything. I didn't expect to have 2 machines go down. 1 maybe, 2 no. I was a bit annoyed about that, to be honest with you. But it wasn't a hard fix. It was quite an easy fix in the end. I'm just hoping that this cable doesn't go like they did on the first one. Apart from that, other cons, well, it's just the reliability at the moment. No one kind of knows. There's a lot of them failing. I think that if you do get one and it does go down, you send it back, or they'll send you the parts to fix. They're well aware of the problems, I think, now, so they don't. I mean, maybe this is why there's quite a bit of backlog with the machines at the moment. So they're just saying, right, we're going to get them sorted before they go out the door. Apart from that, I can't think of many more cons. It's a bit fiddly to put together the electronics, but to be honest with you, it's a piece of compared to the other one. To the Mark III, I mean, that really is, you've got to jam all those wires in there and everything. But I can't think of any other faults that would come out of that really too badly. I like the bed, to be honest with you. Another good pro that I like about this is the fact that the bed seems to, the filament seems to adhere to this much better than it does on the PEI sheet on the Mark IIIs. And you can feel that this is slightly rougher. I don't know if it's completely different, but I think it is. But I do like that. I'm going to get a texture sheet for that as well, because I've got texture sheets for all of mine, because I'm slowly switching over all my products to PETG from PLA. I like PLA, but to be honest with you, if you leave it in the sun, it's just going to warp and melt. So PETG is a little bit more resistant to that, and to warmth and things like that. So overall, love the machine. You can fault it, and you have seen the faults live. I've had another one with even more faults. That's gone back. I'm hoping to get the other one, and I shall report once that's built and away and going. I'm going away on holiday for 10 days now, so I won't be doing another video for a while. I think for $350 or euros, sorry, and the support you get from Prusa, then it's definitely worth it. And I think it's a great little machine. The quality speaks for itself, and I love the fact it's so quiet. It really is a nice machine to have. And I love the board, the display as well. I think that's fantastic. So there you go. Yay, it works. It's alive. I'm Lee. Thank you for watching International 3D Printer. Don't forget, if you've liked the video, please like, put a thumbs on it, subscribe to see more videos. There's a lot more videos coming up in the near future. I've got lots planned. I'm really going to start concentrating on 3D printing rather than the modelling now. I'll still do the odd modelling thing. Please subscribe, hit the bell as well if you want notifications as soon as they're released. Thank you for watching and making it this far. All the best. Take care now. Bye-bye.